Hi, hello, how you doing? This is Dante Joa, Chinese descendant and Dominican, and I was born in Queens. And I'm a medical doctor, and I want to bring to you a little bit of information about what can we do with all these reactive oxygen species, which is commonly known as free radicals, things that cause harm to you and me, to ourselves, like cancer, like cardiovascular problem, like inflammation, sickness, fatigue, anemia, immunological problems. And not only I'm going to talk about that, but I also want to talk about our own immune system, what God gave us to actually detox, to actually fight, to actually give you regeneration, to fix your damaged cells from a biochemistry point of view, from a medical point of view, from an educational point of view, so that you could make your own judgment. And remember, everything is now online. You could start Googling and looking information in every language. There is a lot of studies in everything that I'm talking about that will support what I'm explaining to you. I'm going to bring to you physiological biochemical reactions so that my students, medical students, nurses, even doctors that are not perhaps in the field of functional medicine, at least get a guidance and a point of view in how we can help really our patients. I'm going to talk about chelation. I'm going to talk about vitamins and minerals. I'm going to talk about nutrients. I'm going to talk about life. I'm going to talk about detoxification. So stay put. All right, I always like to start by just showing you my references, where I gather my scientific evidence so that I could talk to you and give you a better guide, and so that you can make a good judgment on how to value or where to go to get good organic nutritional support. One of the guys that I would recommend with all my open heart at Western York Healing Center is Dr. Raddick, the best, my mentor, the number one. Dr. Raddick, my man, love you. Guys, I hope you like everything that I'm going to bring to you. All right, guys, so check this out. Oxidative stress or reactive oxygen species or free radicals. We are exposed to them in our all daily life because if we consume processed food, we are getting metals there, heavy metals. If we are exposed to ultraviolet light, not on the blood, but on the skin, type A, which is not good, we are going to cause the skin cancer, which is the most common cancer. It's just that people, because they could see it, they could go to an oncologist and treat it and work fast. But the number one cancer that is easy to detect is the one that we see, like in the skin. So you don't want to be exposed to ultraviolet type A on your skin. Not at all. Heavy metals, such as cadmium, such as lead, such as mercury, such as arsenic, which are all in our environment. I'm going to show you where you're going to find that. Viruses will also initiate and block some receptors that help in stimulating your, let's say, antioxidant or your detoxification reaction by inducing, in the case of the white blood cells, like the neutrophils, the polymorphonuclear, to produce interleukin-6, to produce, let's say, an acid type to kill viruses, but at the same time, it will damage the cell. So you want to be using antioxidants such as vitamin C, such as all the vitamins and minerals that we know that will prevent an electron loss. And that is when oxidation comes to play a role. So we're going to talk about reactive oxygen species and how can you and I release our body of those oxidative stress elements that are poison. They are indeed poison. When they get to your cell, the cell will get all these free radicals, all these loose electrons, that then the cell will start getting oxidation, they will shrink, they will die, and that will be secreting in your body. And that is not good. So we already know by many signs that inflammation is the #1 marker showing us that there is either a reactive oxygen species or something that your body cannot deal with. Why? Because perhaps his detoxification natural endogenous mechanism is not active or is not working because so much elements, toxins in your body system that you don't see. Why we see the skin cancer? Because it's there outside. You will see something wrong, you will go to see the doctor. But what I'm talking to you about, heavy metals, reactive oxygen species occurs inside your body, in the inside of your cell. You and I cannot see that. Like if you look at your abdominal cavity, at your stomach, you may see a nice, right? But how are your intestines in the inside? Are they clean? Do they look nice and shine? Moisturized? No. You know what? They are full inside, right? Okay, so think about it like that. We cannot see these things. And when we are going to actually be able to see it is because we're very sick. And if they do the right test and the right therapeutic approach, you will get rid of them. And that is the reason why, once again, chelation works. Vitamins and minerals works from an organic point of view. Because if it's a synthetic point of view, it won't work. It won't work. Okay, guys, let's talk about elements, atoms, things that we don't really see. And we have a vague idea of what it is. So I'm going to be mentioning from the periodic table, and I'm going to talk about some molecular structures of many elements, such as hydrogen, like you see here on my left. That circle inside that has the number 1 means 1 proton. And what is outside is just a denomination of that inner orbit or inner shell. If you look specifically, each of these inner circle, they have a specific things that amazingly in science is like well balanced because God created it. For example, in the hydrogen, in the first one, I'm gonna write about it. In this here, in the inner, let me write down here, in the inner orbit or shell, it could only be 2 electrons, number 2 electrons. I know my handwriting is crazy. Okay, so let me go back again. In the inner shell of any atom, it could only hold 2, that's it, 2 electrons. They are always like orbiting around, orbiting around. Let me erase it. So under normal circumstances, these electrons are in one orbit. But if there is another element that wants to take it out, they can. And once you or I or any atom or any cells loses an electron, that is known as oxidation. Oxidation. So oxidation is a loss of hydrogen. Okay, so you know when you get like a tube, a metal tube, brand new, they look like, let's say, color gray, and suddenly it was exposed to perhaps corrosion, water, changes in temperature, and it starts changing the color from the outside, like kind of red. That is oxidation. That means that that element is losing hydrogen, and that is what is oxidation. So when you have lots of hydrogen that is lost, it accumulates in a specific cell membrane, increasing the acidity inside, and that is going to start killing the cell, because the cell cannot survive in an acidic environment. He wants oxygen. It needs oxygen. So by physics law, the first orbit could hold 2 electrons. These here, they're very small. They weigh less. Any other orbit or shell could only hold up to 8 electrons under normal circumstances, meaning natural, not man-made. But there are other elements that could go and steal it from you. So if, for example, this carbon is a carbon molecule because it's made of 6 electrons. Look here. In the first orbit, 1, 2. In the other orbit, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So in total, this is a 6 carbon atom. But he could hold 2 more electrons if he desired. And when those 2 electrons get inside there, it changes their property, for good or for bad. And when you are taking high doses of vitamin C or any antioxidant, it means it will prevent the loss of hydrogen. And that's what you want, because if you have losses of hydrogen atoms, the whole tissue becomes acidic and the cell will die. So when you're doing ozone therapy, when you're doing super nutrition with vitamins and minerals, when you're doing high doses of vitamin C, when you're using ultraviolet B light and also C and also A directly through blood irradiation, not only you are blocking or reducing the action of oxidation, but you will improve the oxygenation perfusion, or the amount of oxygen in the blood, which is going to flow through your whole body system, bringing you more oxygen and more nutrients and reducing the inflammation. So look at the iron here on your left, right here. That's a metal. You see that? That's a metal. So when we say, or when we do on a specific exam through the urine analysis system, which I'm going to show you later on, is called this company, Genova. I have no conflict of interest. I don't work for Genova. I don't promote Genova. I'm talking about a urine analysis on toxic elements or heavy metals, that they are recognized, they have credibility, and they have a lot of science of it. So we use them to evaluate the load, how toxic is your own body, your liver, your brains, your bone marrow, your pancreas, your spleen, your lungs, your heart, your muscles, your eyes. So because all these heavy metals or metals are poison, they toxic to you. And I'm going to show you in the next slide that we are exposed every day in the whole environment. So once again, it is easy for any molecule structure that resembles, let's say, magnesium. Let's just say that. It resembles magnesium. It will occupy that space, but it's not magnesium, and it will be causing damage to you. So many times we go like, but how am I exposed to that? I'm going to show you how you're exposed to that. You don't see it. Like your skin, if you put a patch in your skin will absorb it. So everything that your skin is exposed to is absorbing it. And your liver is going to work with your gut to break it down, to absorb it, to push it away, to throw it away, to disassemble them. But that normally don't happen if you are full of these toxic elements that will block these phases of detoxification that you and me, God gave us. So one of the things that we want to do, one of the signs that we use for this process of detoxification of these heavy metals is, I want you to look for it, okay? It's called the TAC trial. It's a trial to actually evaluate if indeed these therapies of chelation really works. And it's amazing what they found from the National Institute of Health. So this is a validated science. So if you have your arteries calcified, obstructed with a stenosis, if you have cardiovascular problems, peripheral diseases, diabetes, cancer, poor perfusion, poor circulation, I mean, you don't feel your leg, you don't feel your tissue, you feel like pain constantly, perhaps all these small blood vessels that are called, or they are known as vasa vasorum, they may be obstructed, and they will bring blood, oxygen, and nutrients to blood vessels, to the largest blood vessels. And if the larger blood vessels do not receive enough blood and oxygen, then they will start decay. They will start breaking down. They will not work. They will get into ischemia. And that will continue to develop the process of inflammation, plus the obstruction of circulation, plus your sickness. So chelation does work. Chelation is being proven that it works. Also vitamins and minerals. So once again, not only the TAC trial has evidence, okay, but there are lots of evidence in how much we, by using antioxidants that will prevent the loss of electrons, indeed help your body. So when you see these letters like on the shelves, like this N, this M, this L, those are the letters that they assign to each orbit or each shell of any atom. All right, what is important to know that in the inner layer or in the inner orbit or in the inner shell, that atom could hold up to only two electrons. If it's missing one, it's not balanced and it's not going to work properly. If it gets two, it's balanced and it will be okay. But if you give them more, it could change the property. And that is the reason why, because you and I are an organic matter, and we depend on minerals for our cellular respiration, for our biochemical reactions to occur, for hormones to be produced, for neurotransmitters to be emitted from one cell to another, for your whole body organs to function properly, for your own immune system to work properly. Your body cannot have a load amount of toxic elements, because you already know now that because of physics, the law of physics, these elements could attract each other, combine, what is called covalent. They could share electrons, and they could start either doing something good or something bad to you. Okay, guys, just to mention a few of these metals that cause so much harm to you. As you can see here, from the water, from the air pollution, from paint, from gasoline, from food, processed food, from smoking. That's bad because they are all encrypted. They are all in there, and that's why they call it, I won't even say the name because it's bad. I don't want to say that. But this lead, cadmium, mercury, arsenic, they are so bad to your health, to my health, and we don't see it. We don't. Remember what I just told you. Your skin is exposed to it. It's protecting you, but it's absorbing it, and it's keeping it in the body. So if you don't use the proper measure in how to start detoxification, in how to help your liver, your gut, your kidney, your brain, your pancreas, all of your body organs and system that works directly and indirectly in the detoxification process in phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, if you don't help them by giving them what the cells need, the cell won't be able to regenerate itself. DNA will get damaged. Your body cells will not have the instruction to repair a cell tissue. Why? Because it's loaded with toxic elements, such as this. I'm going to show you the report in toxic elements that everybody, including me, even though that I will do and I'm doing chelation, we'll still have it. Why? Because we're exposed to all of this environment, in the water, in the air, in many paints, in everything that's around us, also in nutrients. Okay, guys, look, I'm just going to mention just a few of the elements of the metals that we don't actually see it in our food, in our processed food, in our nutrients, in the water, in the materials that we wear. You know, there are clothing that now water comes it and it repels it and you don't get wet. There are materials now that if you, let's say 200 pounds and you lost 100 pounds, there are pants now that they just one side. They stretch and they don't look a stretch and you feel comfortable. Those materials, do we know what are they made of? I don't know, but I just want to let you know that, for example, when we talk about mercury, cadmium stays in your body between 17 years to 23 years. All these metals that you could see here that intervene with DNA repair, with blockage of potassium. Potassium, you need two, if there are two minerals that your body needs, is potassium and sodium. They are the most important mineral. Why? Because of the 60, 70, 100,000 cells that you and I have, every membrane is controlled in terms of voltage, electricity, by potassium. So if your potassium is very low, you don't have energy. You have no voltage. You are fatigued and you could stop breathing and your muscles will stop working. Sodium will initiate the spark, the action potential, that electrical impulse. So if we don't have those two in balance, we have a problem. But guess what? All these minerals, most of them occupy the same space where these electrolytes or ions are in our body cells. They will decrease zinc. They will decrease copper functionality. They will decrease. They will block or they will damage your bones. They will damage your liver, your kidney, the spleen, lungs, gastrointestinal. You're gonna have skin irritation, cardiac problems, brain problems, depression. I mean, it is amazing of how bad all these elements actually stop DNA repairs, stop your body from detoxification itself, from all these phases that our body, God, gave us. So just to mention a few, these are metals that are all around our environment. Can we get rid of them? It's too late already. Not completely. I don't think in our own life we could get rid of them, because as soon as you take them out, they will come back again, because we are exposed to them unless you take precautions, you take your chelations, you do your therapy, you see what you're eating, what is in your house in terms of molds, in terms of the paints on the walls, in terms of the filters, the HEPA filters, in terms of everything that surrounds you. Unless we take control of that in our environment, we won't be able to help. Okay, guys, let me just start by doing this first, okay? Celia Cruz. Celia Cruz was a singer from Cuba. Everybody knows her, even in Africa where they don't speak Spanish. She used to sing salsa, boleros, romantic music, a voice, a charisma, a queen. She used to say, azúcar. You know what that means? That means glucose. And why? This is Celia Cruz right there. Azúcar in salsa. Oh my God. So many songs, so many hits. I mean, in crazy. Now, remember that we need two things in order for us to live: oxygen and nutrients. But it needs to be broken down so that our body could use it. The way we break down the nutrients is in our biochemical reactions, is by cellular respiration, in which we get one glucose molecule and we break that, and I'm going to explain that later on. But when we break apart the glucose, that's when we get energy, adenosine triphosphate. So it is amazing to say that in one glucose, you have so much energy, and God gave us what is called cellular respiration, in which the oxygen will control, will block, will neutralize the amount of acidosis, the amount of hydrogen, if we provide them, if we have them available. If not, when we break apart this glucose, these hydrogen ions that are attached to it will break apart, will get into the membrane, cell membrane, and that will cause acidity, and the cell will die. That is, once again, why do we need to use ozone, chelation, vitamins and minerals to help to assist in cellular respiration. All right, as an introduction into biology and chemistry, I first want to bring to your attention that there are two things that we need to have in order to survive, in order to live. What are those two things? Nutrients and oxygen. But oxygen is more than just something that you breathe in. As we get so much heavy metals, so much toxicity from the environment, from our own body, from metabolic waste, from the clothes that we wear, from the perfume that we put on, from the pencil, the glasses, any cosmetic utensil or products that we use, that all comes with elements that perhaps are not purely in a way good for your health or my health, since they may be loaded with a lot of metals, which will actually block our liver to do what normally it does in one of the so many functions that the liver has, which one is detoxification, in which we have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. So all heavy metals block the liver. The liver cannot break down these metals, and they will accumulate in the bone marrow, inside the cells, in brain tissue cells, in your eyes, in your heart, in your muscles, in your pancreas, in any tissue of your body. So that is the reason why ozone, chelation, high doses of vitamin C, which are minerals, which acts in our body as an enzymes and also coenzymes. So when you eat, for example, glucose is made of 6 carbon atoms, 12 atoms or elements of hydrogens, and 6 atoms of oxygen. As that glucose, only one molecule of glucose goes inside of you, your body has a process known as cellular respiration, in which it will break it apart inside the cell into different sections. One will be called glycolysis, because these 6 carbon molecules are going to be split in half. So instead of having like 6 carbon unit, we're going to have 3 carbons unit and 3 carbons unit here, split in half. When that happens, good things occurred. One is that we are going to get these carbons and they're going to get attached to oxygen molecule. And what do we end up once we get carbons and oxygen? We get carbon dioxide, which is a metabolic waste that we expel through our body respiration. What also we get? Well, we gain these hydrogen molecules. They will get attached to oxygen. And as they get attached to oxygen, what that ends up with? Water. So oxygen and nutrients, if you don't have both of them, you will not survive. But also, if the amount of free radicals, if the amount of reactive oxygen species also accumulate in our body, because our detoxification system, our own organ system is loaded with that, they are blocked all these minerals that they're supposed to do good. Because you know what? These iron, this cadmium, these lead, this aluminum, all these heavy metals, they have almost the same molecular structure of many minerals, and they occupy the space. So for example, let's say in your brain you're supposed to have magnesium, let's say, but mercury, all right, is an example, has almost the same molecular structure. It's an example, all right? It's not like that. It's just for you to get an idea. So if mercury have the same molecular structure of magnesium, it will occupy the space that magnesium was supposed to be. Now, if we test, let's say in blood, normally for magnesium, what in reality is giving me is the mercury accumulation, because it's measuring the same place. For you to get a good measurements or analyticals on these metals, we want to do urine. Why urine? Because urine is the one responsible for the waste product, so that our body get rid of those waste products like ammonia, like urea, like uric acid. Also, when you eat a slice of pizza, for example, you're eating DNA, you're eating RNA, and you will go like, what do you mean I'm eating DNA? From where do we have the bread? From wheat. From where do we get the cheese? From milk, cow. Pepperonis, vegetables, all the things that we put on top of it, that came from a living cell. So any living cell that we ingest is made of DNA and RNA. DNA like you have here in number 1, adenine, you have guanine, you have cytosine, you have thymine, and you have uracil. Just to give you an idea of what is a nucleotide, and what is nucleotide, things that are made of DNA or RNA. But in order for us to break all these things apart, we need vitamins and minerals so that cellular respiration occurred, meaning the B vitamins, all of them. It is amazing how we need the V vitamins in our biochemical structure and biochemical mechanism in which cellular respiration occurs. Once again, you and I, we need oxygen. That's right, ozone therapy is great for that. You and I need chelation. Why? Because chelation will drag all these elements, all these bad, toxic, heavy metals or metals out of our body. And what's going to happen with that? That your body's going to flush it through water, through the urinary system. And we're going to help the liver to detoxify itself so that phase one, which is methylation. Methylation is a process in which we want to get rid of what we don't want, all these things that are bad. So when your liver is obstructed, because inside their hepatocytes, inside the cells, they are jammed with a lot of toxic metals and the liver cannot function the same as your gut. And remember, your guts and your brains are completely connected. Your immune system is here in your gut. So let's go back again. You need vitamins, minerals, alpha lipoic acid, chelation. You need ozone. You need blood irradiation, ultraviolet B, type B, type C. Type C kills viruses, bacteria, type A. So there are so many things outside that support and help the allopathic medicine, the medicine that all doctors do, medical doctors that went to medical school. But these things, these therapies that are not natural, let me tell you, people confuse that by saying like, I'm going to a natural doctor. That is not natural. It is organic, and it depends on how good the doctor is in getting his organic products, which there are only a few pharmacies approved by the FDA guaranteeing or saying that the quality assurance and the quality control of these minerals and nutrients and compounds are really what it says to be. Like in one of the videos I was talking about ascorbic acid, in which people think that vitamin C and ascorbic acid is the same thing. No. There are many synthetic, not organic, what we found in nature of vitamin C. For example, if you see in the bottle of your vitamin C, if it says ascorbic acid, it has more than 100 milligrams, that means it's synthetic, it's not organic. And when you have an increased amount of ascorbic acid, there are a lot of studies on that, and not the complete organic vitamin C, in which it helps with pneumonia, it helps with in detoxification, it helps in as an antioxidant, meaning that it will prevent electrons losses, from our cells, and it will stop oxidation. So you want to have really good amount of high infusion of vitamin C? Yes, you want to, but just make sure that you have the good organic, not synthetic vitamin C. What is that going to do? Is going to prevent oxidation. Oxidation is a loss of hydrogen. When we have that, we have an increase in pH, and when we have an increase in pH and acidosis, that will kill the cell. That is why cancer cannot live in an oxygen environment. He wants an acidic environment. So by us giving high doses of vitamin C, ozone, good nutrition, organic nutrition, detoxification of your body, you will help your body to do what it's supposed to do. Your body has all the tools, unless there are some genetics mutation that have changed the structure of the DNA of your biochemical composition, and he cannot do what he's supposed to do. But even then, there are therapies that we use today that will just help to detoxify your body, that could rearrange again and get that toxic out of your system, and your DNA will be restructured again. And it is amazing. So I hope all of you understand that chemistry, biology, nutrition, a scientific academic provider, a healthcare provider that is indeed related, that is indeed up to date with all these new things, once again, like chelation. Chelation is being proven to remove metals, heavy metals out of the body. Ozone is amazing. Look at the video that I have at a second-degree burn patient. Only 2 therapies of ozone with UV light and vitamins and in a high infusion of vitamins. In 2 days, 95% of the burn was gone. Nobody wouldn't believe it if I wouldn't record it, but I did. So look at it. It's there. It's here in my YouTube channel. Anyway, I hope you like this, and I want you to understand. You need to fortify your organs, your immune system. How you do that? Vitamins, minerals, chelation, good nutrition, ozone, alpha lipoic acid, glutathione. There are so many things that we have in our hand to help you, to help our body system to be better and to prolong our longevity, to prolong our juvenile appearance, to stop the aging. That is what is called anti-aging. I hope you like this, and please subscribe to my channel. So once again, if we are going to be talking about cellular respiration, I'm going to make it very simple. Check this out. Let me just mark this first so that you know. This here is the molecular structure of glucose. Remember, azúcar, Celia Cruz, right? Now, when we consume that, we need to have a specific enzymes that will be able to transport or to break apart or to help into transferring this hydrogen ion into oxygen. Oxygen has the green color because the universal color of oxygen is green. So once we start that process of transferring these electrons transport of these molecules, this glucose that you see here is going to be converted into this carbon is going to mix with molecules of oxygen, and it will create CO2, which we're going to spell it out in our exhalation, in our expiration. And then these hydrogen molecules here is going to be also converted to water by combining with oxygen. So if we don't have oxygen, the hydrogen ion will accumulate so high that you will be in a state of acidosis, and that will kill the cell. But check this out. What made that transition of electrons or hydrogens to move smoothly from one area to another? Look up here, the V vitamin, niacin. So once again, can we prevent oxidation? Yes, if we give the cells what it needs. Remember that oxidation is a loss of hydrogen. And how can we do that? By using antioxidants. Where are we going to get those antioxidants? In the pure nutritional forms of minerals, vitamins, and amino acid. If you get it synthetically, you're not getting anything. So once again, you and I need oxygen to live, for cellular respiration. You and I need nutrients like proteins, like carbohydrates, like fat, lipids. We do, because that's going to be breaking apart to create energy. And if without energy, you and I cannot do anything. Okay, the process of detoxification from a biochemical reaction is very complex. I'm going to make it very simple. We have phase 1, we have phase 2, we have phase 3. We have what is known as methylation. We have what is called conjugation. We have sulfuration, and we have ATP dependent of production of energy. But when these heavy metals are blocking all these phases by blocking specific enzymes that God gave us, such as superoxide dismutase, glutathione peroxidase, catalase, those enzymes are the one that will be blocking and relieving our body from those metals and those excess of electrons that will cause oxidation. So if these approaches from our own immune system, from our own body system are blocked, we cannot get rid of them. And that is the reason when you go to see any functional medicine doctor, they will use glutathione, they will use, again, vitamins and minerals, they will use amino acids, they will use ozone, they will use ultraviolet B lights, blood irradiation therapy, they will use chelation. There is a whole lot of compound and approaches to detox your body, to give the liver and the kidney the tools so that they could really work for themselves, for ourselves, and to get rid of all those toxic elements. So once again, investigating, you will see endogenously inside of our body we have what it takes. We'll only need to give the cells the power, the extractor, the energy again, so that they could liberate themselves, and by doing so we will feel better. Now once again, because I know how complex is this, and I'm talking to you, that person that doesn't have science in biochemistry or in medicine, I'm going to make this as simple as I can. When we have in an oxygen molecule attached another extra electron, that becomes a bad thing, an oxidative reactive oxygen species. It is called, or is known as, a superoxide. That's not good. When you have another electron attached to that still oxygen, now it turns into hydrogen peroxide. Up to a point is good, up to another point is not good, this reactive oxygen species. And if we add another electron to that single oxygen molecule, we're going to have now a hydroxy radical element. They are all bad. But guess what? We have in our body the superoxide dismutase mechanism, we have the catalase, and we have the glutathione. But if we are deficient in iron, catalase cannot get activated. If we are deficient in magnesium, in zinc, and copper, superoxide dismutase cannot liberate our body of those electrons, those bad things. If we don't have enough selenium or niacin or the B vitamins, glutathione cannot get activated. That is the reason why, biochemistry wise, inside of our body, we need these minerals, we need these enzymes, we need to give our liver, our tissue, these elements so that it could fix itself. We are not making magic. The magic is your body doing it when we give what the cells require from an organic point of view. I know this look kind of scary, okay? But don't worry, I'm gonna make it simple. If you see this dotted line, okay, let me try to just mark it, okay? If you see this dotted line here, you see that? That simulate this part here inside the cell, okay? And the other part here is outside the cell, all right? This part over here. So when we eat proteins, our body break it down into amino acid, and these amino acids are broken down, change, remove the amino site, and that's how in the liver ammonia is going to be converted into urea, and then your kidney will throw them out. But if your liver is not working properly, if your kidneys are not working properly, you're going to have an increase in those metabolic waste, and that is bad for you. Then for those patients that are diabetic, like me, those patients that have cardiovascular problems, those patients that have a lot of free radicals or reactive oxygen species all in their system because they are either overweight, obese, they have a body mass index above 29, all right, because they have cardiovascular problems, because they are with immunological problems, because they are not eating properly, because they're consuming too much alcohol, because they don't have the proper balanced diet, because they don't sleep properly, like many of us, okay? Which, by the way, Queen Elizabeth, 96 years old. One of the reasons why she says that it actually helped her to live a longer life is because she was sleeping at least 8 hours and a half every day. So giving your body rest in a specific time will allow growth hormones, will allow the body to heal itself if you give them the right property. Like glucose. If we eat glucose, the body will break it down, carbohydrates, all right? And if there is oxygen, great, it's going to be turned into something else. If there is not oxygen, it's going to be bad, it's going to turn into something else. So oxygen, once again, oxygen is needed for all metabolic reaction, for a electron balance in which our body could get rid of those electrons that the body doesn't want. So also, if we, because remember, we're talking about energy. So we're going to get energy from either glucose, carbohydrates, proteins, to a less extent, or fat. That's why when we eat fatty food, the body don't throw it out. They put it on the love handles on the side because they could use that later on and break it for energy. The problem is that if we don't have enough oxygen, we have a fermentation, we have lactic acid accumulation, we have sugars that are not going to be broken down, and that's going to be bad for us. But check this out. Look what I have here. Let me just mark it again. B vitamins. Acetyl-CoA is needed. The support of vitamin PA, of vitamin B, pantothenic acid, okay, or pantothenic acid, okay, or B5, or B3, or niacin. We need all those B vitamins to make all these biochemicals reaction to occur. So when you go to get your IV, your super nutrition IV, your vitamins, rich vitamins, organic, no synthetic, you're helping your body to detox. You're giving the liver, you're giving the kidney, you're giving the whole body tissue what it needs to fix itself. So once again, when you and I eat, when you and I breathe oxygen, we're helping with our biochemical body reaction into detoxification. And if we eat properly and if we have the vitamins and the minerals and the right approach in our nutrition, our way of life, sleeping 8 hours and a half, it's been proven already. Taking the at least 15 minutes out in the sunlight for vitamin D initiation or synthesis or production. Your body and I needs energy, and it will need glucose, it will need nutrients, it will need food. If you cannot get it properly, come to us. Come, get your vitamins, get your minerals so that we could help you in detoxification, giving you energy, and you will feel great. Okay, guys. So I've been talking so much about chelation. Let me explain something. If you're going to do chelation in whatever center, with whatever type of doctor that you wish to do, right? First, before you go into do chelation, you must eat good. Why? Because chelation will use a specific molecule known as EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. That molecule will work like a magnet, bringing every metal that is stuck in your liver, in your arteries, in your brain, in the heart muscles, whatever there is in your bones, whatever there is a metal, it will take it out. Then you have to take a lot of water so that you can flush it out. The more water you take, the more you flush it out of the system. Normally that takes about 2 hours and a half, according to the protocol set by the American College of Advanced Medicine, and also Dr. Gervasio Lamas from the University, from Columbia University, which was the cardiologist that did the study funded by the National Institute of Health, the TAC trial. So you're going to be sitting comfortable, you know, in a place. They're going to do your vitals. They will do electrocardiograms. They will do your glucose also, and they will be monitoring you through the whole 2 hours and a half while you have your infused solution to do this chelation therapy. Now, basically, this is how EDTA work. EDTA, let me write it down for you. Okay. EDTA, ethylene diamine tetra acetic acid. I know my handwriting is messed up, but okay. So when you see this compound, that works just like you see here, like a magnet, attracting all those metals that the body is saturated with. And that is the reason why after 5 of 10 therapies of chelation, you need to get again a super nutrition with the proper vitamins, the proper enzymes and coenzymes and amino acids, so that you replenish things that your body already has lost it through the chelation. The chelation will help you a lot, but still you need to give your body all those minerals that the chelation doesn't distinguish what is good and bad. It will take everything. It will take more bad, but at the same time we have to give you on the 5th out of 10 therapy minimum at least 1 super nutrition with a lot of vitamins. Now, this is from Western New York Healing Center. This is just showing you, let me mark here. This is just showing you one of the tests that I was talking about, Genova, in which you have first, number 1, let's say here, number 1, pre-chelation, and then you have number 2, post-chelation. Okay? So, meaning that after 10 therapies, you know, when you start doing the chelation, everything all around here, that's what was found on the first time that they did the studies of all the heavy metals that were in these patients' system. And after 10 therapy, almost everything went down, more than 80% down. Still, there is a lot of more metals inside the body, and this person needs to be taking at least 20 to 30 chelations once a week, and change the life in terms of what they eat and how they eat, and how to choose the right nutrients that are really organic and not synthetic. So chelation is being proven to help, and if it does release and take away all these metals or these heavy metals or this poison, how your body's going to feel? Very good. You may not feel it right away, because that is something intracellular. Remember that. All right? Anyway, this is from Western New York Healing Center, Dr. Rosa Calderon. She's beautiful. She's very smart. All right? You want to get something good, that's the place to go. Yeah, baby. Finito. I hope you like what I did. I hope you learned something about it, about how good it is to go to a good place and get the right proper therapy. Please, once again, share my video. Subscribe if you haven't. Get others involved. And whatever you need in terms of information from an educational point of view, write me up. I will discuss and I could prepare something for you. Thank you very much. Have a good day. God bless you. Keep safe.